Hi friends, welcome back to the Hangout. Now before we dive into this episode, I want to make sure that you are caught up with the latest season of High School Musical, the series, because there will be spoilers in this episode. Now, if you haven't caught up, go watch it and then come back and hang out. Also, this video is not sponsored, but I wanted to give a special shout out to Disney Plus for helping out and making these episodes possible. Now, let's get into it. Today we are hanging out with the iconic, fierce, dramatic, and hilarious triple threat. Yes, he can sing, he can dance, he can act, he can do it all. He belongs on Broadway. You love and know him as Carlos on Disney Plus's High School Musical, the series. Let's welcome Mr. Frankie Rodriguez to the show. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for that intro. My goodness.
Before we dive in, I want to make sure, are you staying hydrated? How are you doing?
I am. I have my bottle of water right here. I'm very, very hydrated.
I love it. I love it. And of course, because musical theater is a thing with this whole High School Musical thing, I want you to give me your best. Ma.
Oh my gosh. Let me say.
I love it. I love it. We are season four. Let me rephrase that.
I mean, yes, crossing all my fingers,
go off.
all my toes. You put that out there in the universe.
manifest. Yes. So yes, episode 4 from season 2 is out now. If you have not watched the first 4 episodes of High School Musical, the musical season 2, make sure you go watch that because there will be spoilers in this episode. But we are going to dive right into it. Let me rewind to season 1 first. The iconic homecoming scene, it's forever iconic. Like, you guys did an amazing job. The whole dance sequence, the whole everything. I love how your guys' show encourages you to be whoever and whatever you want to be. What is it like for you to kind of be a part of this sort of cast and tell this sort of story?
I mean, it's like a dream come true. I think it's something that I definitely never even thought would be in my like career path, to be like launching a network and then to be like making history at Disney. But it's like the best feeling. And I think the reward comes when you get those flood of messages from not just a generation of kids coming up and watching and being introduced to the show for the first time, but also from adults who have been reaching out and just saying like, just how exciting it is to see that representation. That's like the best.
Yeah, for your guys' self this time around in season 2, were you able to add any creative input in these characters that you guys know and love so much?
Oh my gosh. Well, I always say, I think our dressing rooms are bugged and they can hear all of our conversations, because I swear there are sometimes we say things and they end up in the script. So
really,
I mean, just like just sayings that we have, I'm just like, oh my God, I literally said this. But no, I kind of just leave it up to the writers and the creators of the show to really tell the story. And they do such a great job.
Yeah. I guess with that being said, Carlos's audition number, he is going to audition for the musical. This is in the second episode. What was it like getting to perform that bell sequence with the rest of your cast and kind of have fun with it?
Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. I think that was one of the first songs we recorded for the new season. So just to kind of get a preview of what was going to happen, that was very exciting.
The specific part where you're like, I'm going to woo and marry Belle. I did not stop laughing. What was it? What was it like singing that specific part?
I mean, that is fun because like Carlos knows, Miss Jen, they all know. I don't know why they put him through that. They knew he was not about to be Gaston. No, that was fun. And I just remember after filming, because we just filmed like a few different takes of it right in a row. Yeah. And just to hear laughter from Video Village, you're like, oh my God, okay, it's funny. Okay.
So I'm making plans to woo and marry Belle. Aside from COVID this season, what was one of the biggest challenges for you coming back?
Well, obviously COVID, very big challenge. But I think the biggest challenge coming back to season 2 is kind of just going back right into that work mode. You know, on the show, we're singing, we're dancing, and we're acting. And so there's all these different components that require your brain to be at full function. So when you kind of like get to like sit for too long, you kind of just like go back into it and you're kind of like a little rusty. But I think that's always like the biggest challenge. And because we had to stop and start so many times this season, just for safety issues. that was the biggest challenge.
Because I guess you guys had started the first 2 episodes you guys had shot, and then you
Yes.
came back for the rest of it, or what did that kind of look like?
Yeah, so we shot the first 2 episodes, and then we were right in the middle of episode 3 when we were told we were going to go on a small unplanned hiatus. And and then that turned into 6 months.
Oh my God. Well, what did you, when you guys came back, I guess, just East High and everything and seeing all the cast, was there some sort of like comfort, or how did it feel coming back?
I mean, yeah, of course, like coming back into the workforce after a lot has changed, and I think that's for everyone. It was still kind of like a little iffy. You kind of feel like you're going to get in trouble, like almost like all the time, because you don't want to break any rules or anything. And I'm such a rule follower. So I was like so nervous that I was going to get in like trouble for something, but the comfort of getting to see everybody and just the opportunity to work alone I'm very grateful for that.
Oh, I love that. I guess in the first episode, I guess that was shot before COVID. Luckily, you and Seb, he plays Seb. You guys were able to do the little High School Musical 2 medley with the little fabulous part. Yeah. What was that like, shooting with the big cast and everything?
Oh, I mean, those days are always the best, because when you have the cast and then on top of that, you add the dancers, and then you're just all in one room for about 8 hours a day. It's just a lot of craziness.
What would you say has been so far, out of the first 3 episodes, 4 episodes, however many episodes, has been your favorite scene or song that you've gotten to be a part of?
Ooh, my favorite scene or song. I really love our opening number, Something in the Air. I think that like gives a good preview to what the rest of the season is going to look like. It's a big number, everybody's featured, and it's a bop. So
it is a bop.
Yeah, I would say Something in the Air. I know, I'm still bopping to it, and it's not even Christmas.
Yeah, I was playing it I was playing it in the morning actually, and I was like, oh, there's like jingle bells. Wait, it's not Christmas. So why am I bopping to this?
just ignore that part.
I want to talk about your character Carlos and his relationship with Seb, which I love that you guys are spotlighting it in this season. It's what we want. We ship you guys so hard, and the ship has sailed. It's long gone. But what do you want fans to kind of take away from your guys' relationship in this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. Last year we got to see them really get to know each other, and this year we get to see them as a couple and refer to each other as boyfriends. And I think everyone who was, shipping that relationship last year, they're going to be very excited by the stuff they see this year.
I want to talk about specifically the pizzeria. You guys had celebrated Valentine's Day in there, and Joe's character gives like a little plant pot. Yeah. And it's like the most wholesome bit. What is one of like the most memorable gifts that you have ever gotten?
The most memorable gift I'm looking around my house to see if I can like pinpoint anything. I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one for me. I can't think of it. Like, my mind is going so blank at the moment.
Apparently you got Joe a very special gift as a little Seb version of him as a Funko Pop character.
I did. I don't know if I got that for him for his birthday or when we wrapped or when that was, but yeah, I got him a custom made little Funko Sharpay Pop.
That was so adorable. I guess, what was your first impression when you guys both met? What was your first impression of Joe? Because you guys have such good chemistry now. Was that instant or? Thank
you. I the first time I met Joe is when they brought him into a rehearsal. It was my first day of filming, and so they brought him into a rehearsal, and we got to like kind of like quietly meet each other because they were running a rehearsal. And then later that day, I found out he played piano, and so I was like immediately like, oh my gosh, you play piano? Like, oh my gosh, you like Broadway? And then I found out that he's like a big Broadway nerd, and so then it kind of just like went from there.
Oh, what was your guys' like, I guess, connection, or like, or do you bring Carlos home sometimes? Because I guess you have such a connection with Joe, and you guys are quarantined together, you guys live together. Is that sometimes still there?
We date each other. No, we definitely leave Carlos and Seb at home or at the stages.
Nice. Okay, episode 1, when you say, I'm Mexican, and gay. This is my inside voice.
I'm Mexican and gay. This is my inside voice.
I know so many people can look up to you in that moment and just be like, wow, I feel represented on screen. Who are some people that I guess you have looked up to or feel like have showcased who you are?
Oh, what a great question. I definitely, I think like looks and like acting wise, like cadences of from when I was a kid. I don't remember the character's name, but from Ugly Betty, the little brother, I was just like, oh my God, I look like that and I act like that. Like, oh my gosh, like I'm not alone. Like someone out there is just like me. So that was like the first kind of
representation.
Representation. That was like kind of the first representation that I had seen. But then also shows like Will and Grace, featured LGBTQ plus characters in prominent roles. Those were, of course, something that I was like, okay, so it can be done.
I want to, for your character breakdown, when you were auditioning for Carlos, was that mentioned or did you kind of shape the character?
I think, I don't know if it was like outwardly mentioned, but it was, I guess you could say it was implied. It said that he was in the color guard. He was obsessed with iced coffee. He loved Beyonce. He would like form a flash mob. I was like, this is me. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like reading my own breakdown.
I love that. So I guess it was easy for you to kind of get into that character.
Oh yeah. I mean, for sure, 100%. I went into that audition being probably my most authentic self than I had ever been in any audition. And that's just because it was just kind of like so tailored. I was like, oh my gosh, I can do this. So I was like, I know this kid.
Are these always like your dream roles when you get to kind of bring yourself into the character, or are you more drawn towards characters that are complete opposites of you?
Ooh, I mean, I think it's a bit of both. I definitely bring myself to every single character just because I think you need like a foundation and a safety net just in case things get too crazy. But,
Totally.
I would love to play all types of roles. And, I think comedy is definitely something I lean towards, but who knows? She'll probably be in a drama someday or something.
I love it. I love it. I guess growing up too, your mom kind of signed you up for like music lessons and music classes. What was the moment where you kind of felt like you fell in love with this art form and everything?
Oh my gosh, probably that first summer theater camp. I think I was 10, and I don't want to say I was different, but I just knew at school I didn't share that many common interests with kids. So I kind of, just to get along, I always just kind of did whatever they did just for the time being. But when I was pulled out of school, of course, I was like in love with like Broadway and like music. And I wanted to play the piano and I wanted to dance around. So when my mom put me into theater, that was the first time I was around kids that I really shared like a common interest in with. So I think that was the moment at 10. I was like, oh my gosh, there's like a whole other world out here.
So I guess like in the moments of musical theater and growing up, what do you think about, what was it about musical theater that kind of drew you to it? Was it the community? Was it the art and the performance aspect?
Oh my gosh. I think it was definitely the music aspect of things. I loved being able to tell stories through songs. And then when I started to do like actual like community theater and started doing it with like a little more grown-up crowd, then I was introduced to the community of theater people, and I was like, oh, I love this.
I guess for our show, the Hangout, we always want to figure out what it is about music that has impacted you and made it so special. How do you think music has impacted you in your life?
Oh my gosh, it impacts me every single day. I come from a very musical family. So my mom was very adamant that all of us, me and all my siblings, had to play at least one instrument. So I think I was kind of just born into it. And my mom, actually both my parents, they really do love music. And I love that you can express yourself through music in almost every single genre. So it does impact me every day.
I want to talk about your bike riding to the library as a kid and how you used to find like musical theater tracks and stuff. When you heard the musical tracks for the first time, which musical stuck out to you?
Ooh, the first ones that I can remember, I think the first one I got was Seussical, and I got it because of the cover art, and I was obsessed with like Dr. Seuss at the time. So I was like, what is this? And then that was the gateway musical, I would say.
Ooh, I love that.
And then it was like Phantom, and then I was really obsessed with Little Shop and Aida. But I think it's always what I loved about them is when you start it, they do such a good job at telling the stories even through like a CD. So you can feel like you're there, but you get to make up all of everything else in your head because the soundtrack is going. But I think that's what I love about it.
I love it. You have some cardboard cutouts of Zac Efron and Ashley Tisdale. What? And you've scared some of your cast members with it.
Oh my gosh.
What is the backstory behind that? Do you have a new edition?
Not a new edition yet. I said I would get a new one every single season that we had. So Zac Efron, I don't know I think it started out as a joke because we had these trailers and I was like, I'm gonna put a framed picture of Zac Efron there. And I was like, actually, it's going to be a cardboard cutout. And then I was like, wait, I think I'm actually going to get a cardboard cutout of Zac Efron. So it started out as a joke, and then I got it. And then second season, I got Ashley Tisdale. But they're kind of like these little yearbooks because after the first season, everybody signed the back of Zac. So he's put away and preserved. So I have that forever. And then Ashley, we had some people sign it, and then we donated it to the production office so she can live there forever.
I love that. I actually want to talk about, I guess, with your family. We'll go back to that. Who do you think some of your biggest cheerleaders are in supporting you on this journey right now?
Oh my gosh. I mean, definitely my entire family. No one has really pursued a career in entertainment in my family. So this is all very, they're having a good time with it.
Yeah, what's it like for you kind of being like the trailblazer in that area then?
Oh my goodness. I guess it is kind of crazy. And just coming from like a small town, my mom said the other day, because I was telling her about some upcoming stuff that I had, and she was like, well, my gosh, she's like, you're really just making all of your childhood dreams come true. And it is kind of weird because it does become the day to day and it becomes your work. And then but to hear her say that, I was like, oh, I am.
Do you feel like you're living like a very surreal sort of lifestyle right now?
I mean, sometimes like when we do like the day to day, it just feels like, like your tasks of the day. But when I reflect back on it, or even just thinking about season 1, it's like, that's like a dream come true. Like that's something that I had always wished for, and it happened. So it's amazing.
What are some of Frankie's like dreams and manifestations and goals for the future?
Oh my goodness. A lot of them. I would say definitely at some point I would love to do like a Broadway show. I think that's like my ultimate like bucket career list. But I guess like me being in a movie, more TV shows. I mean, just all that fun stuff.
You really do belong on Broadway at that. And Carlos is correct. And he fully
Thank you. We are manifesting on this podcast. I love it.
Yes, manifestation is key because it is like, do you journal? Is journaling like, do you have a journal where you put manifestation?
I don't have a journal, but I have a planner, and that like, I would say that's my journal.
I love it. Okay. We're going to quickly wrap this up with some scenario rapid fire questions.
Okay.
They're kind of tied in with some episodes as well. So first question, you were the director of Coachella. Who were the 3 artists headlining the show?
Oh my gosh. Ariana Grande, Blackpink, and Dua Lipa.
I love that. So you're going to go into a coma after attending this crazy festival. What's the one song that'll wake you up?
I Want to Dance with Somebody, Whitney Houston.
I love it. This week's episode, or actually last week's episode, was the Valentine's Day episode. What is one romantic gesture you would do for your loved one?
One romantic gesture I would do for my loved one. Ooh, trying to think of like an out of the box gift that would surprise them.
Nice. COVID is now over. Broadway is open again. What is the one show you were going to go watch?
Ooh, 6.
I've gotten that answer a lot. I guess you guys are all very like, you guys as a cast are very cohesive and all on the same page. Ashlyn talks about it in episode 2, but you're going to Disneyland. Who are you Disney bounding as?
Ooh, Disney bounding. Trying to think of one I haven't done? I guess like Aladdin.
Ooh, I love it. Have you Disney bounded a lot? Like when you guys go to Disney?
Not at Disney, but me and my friends have done it a few times just for like fun.
Yeah. And lastly, you guys are wrapped up on a Friday night. What are you planning? Where are you going? Who's in charge of all that?
We wrapped up on a Friday night. This is with the cast?
Yes.
Okay, we were probably going to this restaurant called Yellowfin in Salt Lake City, and we're probably going to sit there, and then we're going to go and then do some card games. And I would say, let me see. I would say Julia is the one that's like good at like making sure that we're all like touching base with each other and everyone gets to where they need to go.
I love that. Okay. Is the season 2 cliffhanger more intense, or maybe like what can we expect than compared to season 1?
There are a lot of twists and turns in this season, which I think it is very long awaited. But I'm happy that fans are actually going to get to see it and experience something that we've been working on and so hard for the last year. But I think you can expect a lot more music, some good originals, and then of course some really fun covers of Beauty and the Beast.
Do we get to see Carlos in his dancing shoes again? Like, do we get to see a lot of that, please?
I think we'll always see Carlos in his dancing shoes. I mean, he's the choreographer.
Yes, but technically he was trying to give it up to Gina at one point, but we need the OGs at that point. But
yeah.
Okay, guys, that was Frankie Rodriguez on the Hangout. Thank you so much for joining and chatting.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave us a comment and review on our YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're tuning in from. Make sure to like and subscribe as well so you know when new episodes come out. I would also really appreciate it. You can follow us along on all of our socials at the Hangout CA. That's it for now. We'll see you next week.